right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host for this morning's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this morning as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we could take advantage of in this awesome market. So without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. If everybody can hear me loud and clear and we're all ready to go, do me a huge favor, drop me a 1 in the chat. Let me know that I don't have any technical issues. I see the one coming in. I appreciate it, Kay. Good morning, everybody. All right, so let's make sure that today, right, we always follow that credo and we take massive action, accepting all possible losses. Before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome, let's center ourselves in body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading. Let's trust in our education, strategy, trading skills, and intuition. Let's always imagine our trades successfully materializing. And let's obey our trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear. And let's make sure that we are never looking back or stopping once our trades have commenced. All right. I am glad to be back and on the charts with everybody this morning, right? As we have had a lot of data, right? A lot of data. Um, Let me see. Uh, Beneath, it is telling me that you are using an older version of Zoom, so I am not able to give you control over your mic. So, whenever you get a chance, make sure that you update your Zoom if you can, but you should still have the chat feature available. So if you have any questions or need to make any comments, uh, definitely use that chat for me this morning, my man. All right. So there we are. Will do. Yep. You're welcome. Okay, so let's move over. Take a look at the Forex factory. So yesterday, the news was everybody was waiting on mainly the FOMC statement coming from the Fed. It was expected they were going to hold rates. But based on the statement yesterday, Powell saying, hey, we're almost there for the rate cut, continue to stay data dependent, but he did leave the door with his rhetoric, did leave the door wide open for September cut. So let's see what happens tomorrow with the non-farm payroll. As we saw that yesterday, the private sector jobs, ADP non-farm employment change, it missed, right? It came in at 122K. The forecast was 147. So that missed yesterday. Sometimes non-farm falls in line with it. Sometimes it doesn't. It could be the complete opposite. So we will see tomorrow, because if tomorrow we have a you know a non-farm payroll report that comes out way under, we look at the wage data that comes out tomorrow. If it comes in way under, then maybe you don't see a 25 basis point hike in September. I mean, basis point cut in September. Maybe you see 50 basis points, right? Depending on what the data shows, right? So if it comes through pretty bad, you may see the market start to price in 50 basis points for September. But that is yet to be seen. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with the non-farm payroll. But like I said, left the door wide open for a potential rate cut in September. All right. We had the PMI data come through for the Eurozone yesterday, came in high, right? CPI and core CPI came in 2.9, 2.6 above forecast for both, right? So we'll see, right? As the ECB says, hey, they're going to stay data dependent there. So that is still lingering, right? Came in above. So we'll see what happens this month and moving into September in regards to potential rate cuts. Canadian GDP came in pretty good, right? For Canada, and it's getting a little bump because of the oil, right? Situation that's going on with prices. So a little bit of strength creeping in for the Canadian dollar. That was all yesterday. Now today, August 1st, right? First day of August already. We're moving through the year. 7 o'clock. right? 7 o'clock, we have the Bank of England monetary policy report and official bank rate, right? They are voting. So let's see what happens. So they're expected, right? We see here the previous was 5.25, expecting, right, it to come down to 5%, right? So 25 basis points. So we will see if they do that, and then what the forward guidance is going to be um, from Governor Bailey, as he will speak today at 7:30, and then we've got unemployment claims today at 8:30 for the United States. And we also have ISM manufacturing PMI. So busy day. But first up on that docket is the BOE. So it's seen, the forecast here is it's seen as easing the cycle. BOE is poised to kick off an easing cycle today by reducing the key rate by 25 basis points of 5%, down from a 16-year peak of 5.25. Still, more policymakers may opt to keep rates stable due to concerns over services inflation and wage growth, with that has continued to be a challenge in the UK. So 7 a.m. we should see some volatility. We see here with the US dollar, the dollar index rose to 104.4 on Thursday, rebounding from a 0.4% drop on Wednesday as traders digest monetary policy outlook, right? So that was from the Federal Reserve. European shares fall. The yen hits four and a half month high, right, on hawkish BOJ outlook, right? So they came in, man. Bond purchases cut, raised rates, right? And people are speculating that they may do more rate hiking in the future. So, man, a lot of things in a short period of time that caused a lot of strength to that yen, right? So I'm going to look forward to continue to strengthen. All right. So, any questions regarding anything fundamentally that we've covered so far? Let me make sure everybody has control over their microphone. All right. All right. No questions so far. All right. So the big news of the day, right? We want to make sure that we pay attention to those pound pairs. So we'll take a look at those. Taking a look at the DXYs, we saw the report, right? Saw that it started to make some gains, but again, ranging back and forth. So we see it picking up some steam right now, coming into today. But that can all change tomorrow, right? It can get stronger as a result of non-foreign payroll. Again, today, kind of getting ahead of myself because today we also have some data that can impact that dollar with the manufacturing PMI data coming out. And then we've got unemployment claims at 8:30. So let's see. So pre-market, the dollar is showing some strength. We'll see if it can maintain the strength or if it's just going to tail off throughout the day and just stay range bound. Any questions on the DXY? Nope. All right. So let's move down. Take a look at the pounds coming right out the gate. Since we do have news coming right at 7 o'clock, we move into our pound Aussie setup, and we know that we made a really good run to the upside off the lows. Right, we parked it at double bottom, and we've had a really good run. Now, right, what we want to pay attention to is that right at that 197.60 level on the pound Aussie, you can see that it is stalling, right? Huge rejection candle there. And today, so far, we are moving bearish ahead of the cuts. So let's see what happens here, right? So we're range bound, right? A little bearish. Do we get back below this 195 27 level that we broke above? And so we'll see what the market reaction is. We've got a stochastic, right? That's setting up. We've got a stochastic that's setting up right in the sell zone here. And so will this eventually become that swing high? Okay. Will that eventually become that swing high? And will we get that move down? If we come down to the 4, right, it's starting to shape up, right, pretty good, and make that move down, right, to the downside. So huge bullish candle, but right, we've gotten bearish since and taken all of it back. Okay, so let's watch the news, see what happens as a result of the rate cut. Okay, so the forecast is right 25 basis points. Let's see what the voting members, how they vote. Let's see what the rhetoric is coming from Governor Bailey uh, later on this morning. So that's where we stand on the pound Aussie. Any questions? Could be looking at further declines as a result. That would be a pretty good setup for us if it wants to start to move back down. So we'll watch and see what happens. The pound CAD. Mhm. So we're starting to see a bit of CAD strength kick in, right? Here's this high, right? We're moving back down. So we're coming into this level of 176.20. If we get below that, we may continue to move bearish. Again, that data will play a big part. We can see here how we are turning over in this zone, right? Pretty strong move to the downside. And then we can see here on our our 1 hour 80-20 play, right? Took a while, was messy, ranging, right? As we saw from the higher time frame, but we are coming in at TP2, right? So right now we want to hold, wait and see what happens with the data that comes out at 7 o'clock. Any questions on the pound CAD? No? All right. All right. So a lot of back and forth in this move, but we eventually made it down to the target, right? We're getting a little bit of rejection here at this level now, but I wouldn't do anything until after the dust has settled from the news. Pound Swissy. See it move down. We're coming into some key levels, right? So beautiful move to the downside, right? We're right back at this 111.69 just ahead of the data, right? So let's put let me see what we have coming in below. Support. Got some other levels that we need to work in now. Again, we're expecting, right, the Bank of England cut rates by 25 basis points. But if they held, it wouldn't surprise me. We'll see what happens. Okay. There we go. All right. So continue move. We're coming into support. Let's wait and see. Stochastic is back in the buy zone. Okay. So again, we have the swing high, beautiful bearish candle, and then we continue to decline from there, right? So if we come over to the 4 hour, I've just got my fibs running to the downside. Okay. And you can see we're near ABCD completion, right? A pull back to the 50%. Okay. And we'll see if we push down to that target as a result of the data. So we come down to our 1 hour, okay. Another ABCD wave, right? This one just shot at 50% target, but we are moving bearish, right? Again, almost about to hit that extension on the 1. Any questions on the pound Swiss? No questions? Okay. All right. All right. You all gonna make it easy on me this morning, right? So pretty
So
clean
that
moves though.
real,
Yes, go ahead.
so what you're saying based upon the news that's coming out of the BOE with what we're seeing in the charts right here, are those declines, do those declines represent or yeah, do those declines represent what is anticipated in terms of what the news is going to be coming out?
Yep. Some of it you have people already pricing that in, right? You have them pricing it in, and then let's read up to see, right, what the conditions are for the pound right now, right? So let's see. We know, so the British pound fell to 128, lowest point since July 19th, right? So playing right into what you said, anticipation of the Bank of England's upcoming monetary policy decision August 1st. Nearly 50% of traders bet the BOE will begin its cutting cycle in August and lower the key interest rate by 25 basis points to 5% from a 16-year high of 5.25. However, odds for a reduction in borrowing costs have shortened after a supply of robust 0.4% GDP growth in May, and stronger than expected services inflation to 5.7%. Despite this, the headline inflation rate currently stands at 2%, right? So we've known that for a while, right? And so that's why you see that strong move, right? So we know that it stands at 2%, which that's the main thing. That we know that that's the goal. So there's some other underlying things, right? But that for that overall target of 2%, they are there, right? So that's why you see that strong move with them pricing in 25 basis points. That's why they feel a little confident about it, right? Because they're there where other central banks were, they're not, right? We know in the United States we're not. Um, and so let's see, traders also await a key speech from the new finance minister, Rachel Reeves, in which she will probably unveil plans to cut public spending, raise taxes, and delay. So that's just some fiscal uh policy there. But yep, so exactly what you stated, right? And what you are thinking, right? So we see that move, right? People starting to unload because think about it, that's a good run, right? And what's funny is technically, right, when we look at it from a weekly basis, for example, on this pound yen, we know everything that's going on with the yen, right? We've covered that in great detail. But look how that weekly higher time frame de-extension was hit and the reaction to the downside, right? So you've got some unloading going on for sure, right? This particular pair, that yen strength that kicked in, several factors. I think, let me see here, Bloomberg. So, we kind of suspected that the BOJ has stepped in and intervened, and it had. So here, from this article from the 31st, Japan spent 36.6 billion to prop up yen in the past month, right? So of course they intervened, right? We saw that play out. When we see those huge impulsive moves like that, we know they've stepped in to intervene. So what we were speculating was correct. What we saw technically on the charts was correct. Now you put in a rate hike. They decided to hike rates in Japan. Uh, decided to cut bond purchases, looking at cutting bond purchases, things like that. So you're seeing a lot of yen strength right now. But so this particular pair is heavily impacted by that, plus, right, an anticipated 25 basis points. So awesome job. Awesome job on that observation.
So to follow up on that, back to the thank you. So to follow up
Mm-hmm.
on the report on trading economics, where it can you go back to that really fast?
Yep.
Yep, on the bridge. So it says nearly 50% of traders bet the BOE will begin its blah 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 blah. Yeah, that 50% of traders, are those commercial traders or non-commercial traders? And the reason why I ask is that we had questions yesterday on the COT report. And
Mm-hmm.
if we are looking the difference between retail sentiment and what the big banks are doing, and which category in that COT report that we should be looking at to determine what the big banks and central banks are
I'm
doing.
yeah, I'm looking at those non-commercial your hedge funds,
The hedge
right?
fund.
Is what I'm looking at. Is right, is what I'm looking at on that COT data.
So is that the
It's
not that is that the non-commercial or the commercial or what?
correct.
It's the non.
Non-commercial.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's what I'm looking at. So if we come here, um, when we look at positioning, right, and the commitment of traders, we're coming in. This one is already. So if we scroll down here and what they're tracking, you can see here um, the way that they have this built out, which are non-commercials, is with that pound where we at your GDP, right? Still for the most part, um, long overall, but we've got that 25 basis points coming, right? So we'll probably start to see that shift a little bit depending on what the rhetoric is coming out of the BOE today,
Okay,
right? So there's that correction. Great question,
thank
right?
you.
So you're welcome. So we'll see what they do. We'll see what happens at 7 a.m. We know what's anticipated. Sometimes it could be a different story. Sometimes uh once um investors start to wrap their heads around, you know, what the tone is coming from the BOE and the forward guidance, things could change, and so we'll see, right? Because we're bottoming out. We're at a key level support on this pound yen. We'll see what happens with the data. But great questions. Any other questions? No. All right. So that's where we are on the pound yen, our pound NZD. Okay, which was another really good setup, right? So we can see here on the daily, right, how we're putting in, right? So we're moving bearish off of that swing high. Okay, so it's made a really good run, right? So it's amazing how we're moving into some major highs technically, and then fundamentally we've got some data shifting. So we are at a swing high here. Okay, and now we come into the day moving bearish. So we'll see if it causes a continuation with the data that's due to come out here shortly. Could go either way. You never know. Now, this was an 80-20 scenario that we had, right? Where we're now through TP2, right? Headed for that 214 level, daily level of support. So far, so good on this move. So out of that, we know that the pound pairs can move. So out of that zone, that's 400 pips to TP2, right? Anybody able to get involved with that move, right? Maybe not have gotten the entire move, but maybe some of it to the downside. Yes, awesome, Beneath. All right. Drop some sevens in the chat. Okay. All right. So those are beautiful moves, right? So we see what's taking place from that daily time frame. We drop it down and we're finding those 80-20s, right? To see the deep moves or whatnot. Um, it's providing really good confirmation. So great job. Great job on that. So we'll see if we continue to see a move bearish here in about 3 minutes now when this data is released. Taking a look at the pound dollar. Okay. And we see this move down. Okay, bearish, right? Just an anticipation, right? Because the pound hasn't the pound we've stock markets haven't been in a major risk off mood or anything like that. This is strictly for the anticipation of those cuts coming. So we see this move to the downside, right? After making a really good run to the upside. Okay, so we see the swing high that formed, and then we've gotten bearish. Stochastics back in the buy zone. Now, this here was another 80-20 move out of the zone, okay, which played out beautifully, right? So coming off that level, right, we move down. This is over 200 pips, right? 240 or so to the downside on that 80-20 move. So that's another one that we nailed. So congrats if you were able to take advantage of that move to the downside. All right. If you spotted that and took advantage of it, and you can see here on the one, right? Got the fibs flipped because price has been moving bearish. Okay, to the downside. The extension is hit. Any questions on the pound dollar? No. All right, so across the board, right? Like Kay said, hey, the anticipation has caused that price to move bearish with these pound pairs. Let's see if if it continues, right? Or if we catch any surprises this morning. Moving into, I want to go back and take a look at some of these other plays that we've been, anticipating for a while that are starting to play out. Gotta Gotta find my notes here. Hold on 1 second. Okay, there we go. So I want to move up and we'll take a look at this Aussie CAD scenario, right? Where we tracked it off the highs and we can see here now, okay, stochastic's back in the buy zone. And we don't have a swing lower or anything quite yet, but you can see how that made a beautiful move to the downside, right? So a nice clean move there. And now, right, we zoom out, we'll see how, yes, right, it's taken a while. We didn't hit our extension. And so we are trying to get to this TP1 on the 4, right? So let's go back because it is 7 a.m. now. And let's see. Right. So they dropped it, right? We got the 25 basis point cut. And now let's see what that forward guidance is going to look like. So let's go back to that pound dollar, see if we're getting any type of uh, major reaction. So we can see on this pound dollar where, right? Okay, already being priced in. Let's see what happens with the statement that comes out, and what happens with the press conference. Okay, to get any hints to forward guidance. So it's been moving bearish. Okay, so technically we've been spot on with it. Right, been spot on with it with some of these technical levels that we've been watching. And that is that. All right. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, right, as we go through. Again, it's just 7 o'clock. And we'll see, especially once New York opens with the pound. Okay. Moving on to it's good to already have been in position on a lot of those, taking advantage of that move to the downside. Pound Swissy, right? Again, paying attention to those highs, right? Again, another clean move to the downside off the daily. Okay. Just letting the position run. Okay. Use the fibs on a lower time frame. Once you get a beat on that direction, right? Can we add to our position? Do we want to let it pull back and catch the move? Right. So all of that is the same, right? Just paying really, really close attention to the daily time frame, those swing highs and swing lows, and getting an early beat on that market direction. Taking a look at the Aussie yen. Okay. Again, bearish move off the highs, right? And this is across the board with the yens. All right. Strong, that's a strong bearish candle there, right? Took out the previous three. And we just continue to move down. Now we're starting to settle in a bit. We're flatlining, right? Definitely oversold. Do we find support for at least a pullback? But I'm thinking we may get a decent correction, but that yen may continue to strengthen. So maybe a correction, right? And then a move back down on the Aussie yen. We'll see how it goes. But you can see here's that move with the fibs, right? Those ABCD waves. We did hit a 382 there. We're at this 127. So like I said, again, we may start to see a correction on some of these yen crosses, and then a move back down, right? One more push down at least on these yen crosses. Any questions on the Aussie yen? No. All right. Aussie NZD. So we see it, right? We moved sideways and then we finally broke the range to the downside. Okay. And so this is one that we had a setup going on the 4 hour. Yep, it took a while. It was choppy. We got the TP1, we pulled all the way back and then it collapsed, right? So we got range bound, right? Which can be frustrating, but we never got stopped out. You got your TP1 pull back. Don't know if anybody was involved in that off of this 4 hour setup. After TP1 was reached, then you got that major pullback and a move back down. So if you didn't stay in that, I totally understand. But that one completely moved to the downside. Now we'll see if it holds, right? If it wants to find support and then move back up, right? So we've got some time to wait to see how that reaction, how price is going to react at these levels that it's coming to, right? So we're kind of indecisive now, right? We're neutral. That's a neutral candle right now. So we'll see what happens. Any questions on the Aussie NZD? No. All right. And I know I'm blazing through these. I'm actually trying to get caught up on some of my moves with all the traveling and things like that. So I'm kind of excited to be back uh on the charts and back involved, right? So trying to get through as many as I can for us this morning. This Aussie dollar, right? Again, right? A move down. We anticipated it off the daily. And look at that, right? So your three charging bears, right? We talked about that. You guys are studying the candlesticks, which is awesome in the group. But you can see here where we had those three charging bears but we were already involved, right? So that was a huge move. And so if you've been short on this Aussie dollar, just continue to move your stop, adjust your stop at this point. If you're holding short, move it on down. Right. That way, if it does decide to reverse on you and stop you out, and you may be adjusting your stop on the lower time frames too to get an even tighter stop. But continue to move it down, and then if it moves back and hits your stop, at least you've locked in a ton of profit. Okay. So that's the Aussie dollar move bearish. So hey, it's good when we can get that direction right. Any questions on the Aussie dollar? Nope. Okay. Um, nope. All right. See that coming through. Quick look back at the pound to see if we've got any other movement from it. Just a continued move bearish. So here we are, right, on this pound Aussie. Okay. Looking at that move, right? I wonder if we can break and close below that. But this one is lining up pretty good. Pretty good, right? So this was the um, original high. You got that spike up, yesterday with the activity. So this was the original high here. We got back, we stayed below this 197.60 period, right? So we look for see if we can get further declines on this, especially if we close below that 195.27 level. That may be a pretty good setup there. All right. So let's continue to watch and see uh what comes out of the BOE this morning. Okay. Moving through, wanted to take a look at moving to this Euro Aussie. As we are started, right? So this was a setup for us a while ago, and it made a really good run. But again, right, we're starting to to get whipsawed back and forth. So if you've been in this long, right, you may be out of it now, which is not a bad idea. As again, we got a huge rejection yesterday. It stayed below right this daily and weekly level, and so we may start to see declines right to at least that 164.20 level, and then if we get back below there, we can continue to see a move down. So just wanted to cover that one real quick, as it has made a nice run, but we've now run it coming, will come into some traffic, okay, on that. So here was the consolidation zoomed in, right? And that was a beautiful breakout of consolidation. Made the move to the upside, but you can see here where we're getting rejected pretty good there. So continue to keep an eye on that. The this Euro CAD, right? So again, okay, beautiful run up, and now we see where we've got this high that formed and we are declining, right? So we're gonna look for a move back to 148.60 as we move through the zone. So what we could do, right, is look for moving down. We can see how, right, we broke that level. We hit that 382. Look, and then we pushed up and then we've just rejected, right? So we'll see what happens when we get to this 148.60 level, to see if it wants to stay within that AB boundary and give us a nice low price. But you can see how this was that long play to the upside, and now we are correcting. So let's see what happens when we move down again to that daily level. Did anybody play this short off the daily chart? No? Beneath? Yep. Yep. I know you've been focusing on those daily high and lows for a long time, right? That's been your thing. So it doesn't surprise me that I get a yes from you on that for sure. Yeah, so that's a nice move, right? Swing high form, and now it's moving. Now it's moving back down. Okay, back down. So let's continue to see how that goes. So we've seen, right? We've seen the um oftentimes when you see, like in your yields, your bond yields starting to show some declines, right? With your bond yields, oftentimes, and we'll talk about it. Let me write that down, because I need to, because I want to be able to give a more detailed explanation on that, on this. A lot of times when you start to see like your majors and those your major countries and your bond yields start to decline, you'll see like your lower yielding currencies, like your yen, like your Swissy, they'll start to they'll start to gain a little strength as you see the interest rate differential start to shift a bit, right? So we're now with this rate cutting environment. So you see we've got some strength, right, coming out of that Swissy as a result, right, in the short term. But we've already had tracked this, right, from the higher time frame, and that moved down, right? And you can see how this play, right, is making its way to the downside and your ABCD waves there, right? So you had to move up. Then we worked our way all the way back to that level, and we are bearish. We got below that 94.72 level. We got a slight pullback now, but we're going to look for that de-extension to get hit on that setup. Any questions on that Euro Swissy? No? Okay. Euro GBP, right? This is one we checked out a while ago. We saw it starting to pull in that low. And of course, it gets, whipsawed back and forth. But look how it is, right? As we monitor these daily levels, look how this is playing out, right? So that original low there, and look how that is putting in a nice run to the upside, right? And you can just see, right, those ABCD waves playing out, right? And we're moving along. So we expect that D extension to get hit. That's a beautiful C to D move off the 61.8. So again, it's the Euro GBP. It takes forever. It consolidates a lot, but we've got some nice wave action going on here. So we anticipate that extension to get hit. Anybody play this Euro GBP? I know it could be a frustrating pair, but that was a pretty good low that it put in on the higher time frame. Joy, yep. Good work, everybody. Good work. I love the way this group is evolving. Right? You closed out. Okay. Right. Good job. Good job. Love it. Right. Let's master these charts. Let's master these charts. There's no limit. Right? There's no limit. Take a look at we'll skip over the euro yen. We know what's going on with that. The yen crosses across the board with the yen crosses. Here. So look at this, right? Beautiful run, right? We came into it. See how we just keep pushing higher, keep pushing higher, keep pushing higher, right? And now how we're into the zone and we broke down, right? Stochastic still coming out of our sell zone. And now look, right? Beautiful confluence with the 80-20. And so let's see if we can get TP2 on that. So that Euro NZD coming out of the zone, TP1 has been hit. Let's see if we can get TP2. Any questions on the Euro NZD? No? All right. Euro dollar, right? Wrapping up our Euro pairs. Right? Look at that. Right? Being able to anticipate that move off the higher time frame. We're now, right? We know we're oversold, but we know, right? In studying the stochastic at these levels, how, right, it could just get parabolic on us. So look how it moved, and then we got flat, and it's still moving up. So now we're in the same situation here, right? Where it got kind of flat on us. So maybe we work our way down to this 107.61. We'll see, right? But a nice bearish move. Okay. So does is everybody following, right? Trying to follow the daily time frame, looking at it more at least to get an idea where we may see the price reversal? Is it a lot simpler? Is it a lot cleaner? Any feedback?
I try to follow it sometimes. The challenge that I have, and this is just more of the way the charts are and the plan that I have for a smart trader is
Mm-hmm.
like once I start putting in the levels, my support
Mm-hmm.
and resistance, and I go to the lower time frames, I get so many lines on my chart. So when I go back to the daily chart, it's got so many support and resistance lines because because I go down to the 4 hour. And so to try, so it's just me looking at it with my eye to try to discern those higher time frame levels.
Gotcha. So you're going down to the 4.
Right.
So all I ever put on my chart are the monthly, weekly, and daily, because you're working within the same chart, right?
Yes.
Bringing it down. Yeah, yeah. So I don't. So what level? How many levels do you put in regards to the time frame, support and resistance?
I go down to the 4. So I have
Down to
my monthly, my weekly, my daily, and my monthly. So I've got 4 different levels on my chart.
okay, okay. I got you. I got you. Because yeah, you're not going from chart to chart. You're
Right, exactly.
you're working within the same workspace. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
So maybe maybe just put your maybe eliminate your 4,
Okay. Yeah,
you know,
because
to clean it up a bit because it can get busy, right? The lower you move, it gets busier and busier.
right, exactly. Okay.
Yep. So maybe pull those out, you know, those 4 hour levels out
Okay.
and go, you know, and go with that to see if it helps you a little bit.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, simpler for you. Yeah, it is. It is, right? Kind of eliminates the noise. Eliminates the noise, right? So appreciate the feedback. So that's where we are on that euro dollar, right? Still moving bearish. We'll see how the daily candle closes. We stay below that 108 03 level, right? If we do, we probably look for further declines, right? Pullbacks and declines on that. So we shall see. I want to take a look at gold. Right. So we are okay. Right. Stochastic in the buy zone. Right. We're seeing a pullback today, but I like gold to like 2,600 eventually. Yeah, like 2,600, a little bit higher. Right. So we'll continue to monitor it, but I'm still looking for gold to continue long. Right. So this one here, we see how we parked and we got this low. Right, swing low, and now we're moving higher. And today we're getting a correction, but I eventually expect that to push longer on gold to the upside, push higher to the upside, should I say? Um, so here we are. Right, if I zoom out, this is our 4 hour move. Okay, so you can see the latest ABCD wave long. Right, so if I put it off this low, you kind of see where it's playing out. We're overextended. Right, so we look for a correction and then a continuation, but I'm definitely looking to stay bullish on gold. Any questions there? No, no. All right, let's look at crude oil, considering a lot of things that's going on around the globe, right? And we can see where we are starting, right, to put in a swing low here. Stochastic is in the buy zone, right? So this is going to close out. I anticipate this closing out higher. So this will be support. That's a beautiful bullish engulfing candle there. Okay. We have to respect that. Okay? So my anticipation is for this to become an official swing low. And we're going to look to move higher. Right. See if we can break through 80. But that's what I'm thinking with this play. So we can see here where we had this move that collapsed, right? The back and forth collapsed our fib. Right? We clean that up a bit. And you can see here where we are pushing long. All right. So we're going to look for right now pullbacks and continuations. Okay. Pullbacks and continuations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this off the low. So, okay. So we don't have a 382 yet. I don't know if we'll get it on this fib, but we want to look to stay bullish and get above that $80.26 mark on oil. All right. So right now we're pushing to the upside. Any questions? So any type of pullback, let's see if we can get involved in that. All right. Anybody bullish on oil already?
Benny, hasn't it already hit? Oh, no, it didn't hit the 382. Almost.
Almost. Almost. Right. So we may not get it though, depending. We're consolidating now, right? So it depends on where we break out. But we didn't quite get it. That 1 hour stochastic is back in the buy zone. So we'll see. But I'm definitely looking for a further move up.
It looks like we had a resistance there if you look at the To the left.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's right there.
Yeah. Yep. Run into some traffic. You are spot on with that. So let's see. Let's see what happens. But looking at, demand things. Let's read on it. Matter of fact, let's get a beat on it. See what's going on. So I'm getting caught up. Climbed around 78.7 per barrel on Thursday, extending gains after an over 4% surge, right? Which is what we saw on the charts in the previous session amid ongoing worries about possible supply disruptions. Anytime you hear that, man, right, we're going to see that. We're going to see oil pick up due to increasing threat of a broader conflict in the Middle East. Yeah, killed the top commander. That's been all over the news. Iran vowed retaliation, declaring that Israel will pay a heavy price. Meanwhile, EIA data showed a larger than expected draw, 3.43 million barrels. The U.S. crude inventories firmly above market expectations, a 1.6 million barrel draw, and extending a similar magnitude decline from the previous week to mark the fifth consecutive drop in inventories, right? So the demand is there, the supply is not, right? So we see oil moving to the upside, right? So that's why I'm going to continue to anticipate that oil price to move up until something subsides with the conflict. All right, so that's where we are on oil. That's that. Let me see. I want to go and move over to take a look at our indices. Right. So we'll take a look at the S&P, see where we are. Latest move, did I not put my, guess I didn't put my fibs. Let me move up. For hour. Thought I had fibs in, but I guess not. Right. So we'll come off this low. Right. Had that drop. But now we're looking like we are pushing back long again on this S&P. Right off the lows. Almost double bottom. Let me go to the daily. There we go. Right. I don't know what we think. Right. That looks like a further push to me. Anybody playing the S&P long? It's the daily chart.
I'm actually short.
You short on it? Let me,
I think
that's the sub fibs. Hold on one second. That's my subs off the working within this chart. There we go. Right. That's the sub fib. So you're
yeah,
short off this off of this
yeah, to
here.
the 32.
Yep. Yeah, that's my bad. I moved all my charts into the same into the same workspace, my indices. So I didn't completely clear them off the four and it brought it up to the daily. So that's what the daily looks like there. So you're gonna hold that short, or you got what do you
I got it holding still, so we'll see.
yeah, reach your short too. That I mean that makes sense off that level. So yeah, let's see what happens on that because it's putting in a pretty good low on the daily. All right. I know the markets aren't back to my let me all right. So daily we're risk on. Weekly is pretty much is risk on. This may we'll watch it closely. This may put in a rally from this level though. Off this daily. Like it just continues, right? It's not giving us. I've got to put this back on the at least the S&P. I've got to break out back into its own workspace. Right. So we didn't get a major correction there, right? And so I wonder if this is going to be a shallow pullback and this is at least going to push back up to retest a high. No, if you've been short, it's been a pretty good move so far. But I wonder if this is going to put in a rally, especially off the heels of what happened yesterday with the Fed, them leaving the door wide open for that rate cut. But again, right, we'll find out more tomorrow with the non-farm payroll data, right? So depending on how that comes out. So just continue to monitor your trade. The short play has been good on that so far, but we're getting priced to reverse a bit. So let's see, but great work on that short at this point. Great work. Great work. All right. Ryan,
Did
good
you cover
morning.
UCAD?
Nope, but I can. I can go take a look at UCAD real quick. Yeah.
Good morning, bro.
What's going
How
on
are
with
you?
you, man? I'm good. I'm good. What's the latest?
Man, another grind this morning, man.
I know. I know.
We're making it happen, man. Everything's going all right. Everything's going all right.
Anything to add? Anything to add fundamentally? We
Uh,
talked about Japan a little bit. You know, we were talking about mainly this morning about the UK data. But yeah.
yep, I saw they held the vote shifted a little bit. But no, nothing additional, man. Nothing
Yeah.
additional.
Yeah. No, they dropped to a 1/4%.
Did they drop it a 1/4%? Oh, I missed
Yeah,
it. Oh,
yeah. The forecast was 5 off of 5 1/4. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So they dropped it. But you say, what did you say with the shift and the
Um,
voting?
but no, that votes were 5-4. Uh,
Okay.
but dropped it to 1/4%. Yeah, you're right. No, nothing additional to add, bro.
Okay. All right. Cool deal. Cool deal. So that's where we are on the S&P. Like I said, I'm gonna have to break this back out because it caused my fibs to overlap because I didn't delete them. But that's the daily look there. Looks like it's trying to put in a rally. So just if manage your trade, right? Secure the bag a bit on that short. Because that was a good move. So we don't want to give too much back to the market on that one. Let's take a look at this UCAD setup. Now, I've been watching this one bullish off the 4. Here we are on the daily. So it's made a good run, right? There's that bullish run to the upside. Just continue. Look at all the green candles. Now, right, we've got a high here, right? So if we put our resistance on, we can see that we put in a high. So wonder coming off the heels of yesterday if this is going to be due for that correction back to the downside, right? So it's been running bullish. We know we just took a look at the oil data. We know that impacts the CAD. Here we are, right? So this is that 4-hour move. Let's come off that double bottom. You see that W holding up here a bit. And then if we come to the 1, we got this 80-20. Right? So do we turn over and move down? All signs point to that playing out on that correction. Right? To the downside there. Right. Donette, how are you playing this to the downside short on this move, or
Yes.
what are you doing?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm sure.
All right. Yep, makes
I
sense,
got
right? We're not.
it came down really low. It's almost to my TP there, but turned around. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just letting it
Yeah,
play.
I look for that to I think that's gonna continue to come down. Yeah. So you played it. Did you play it off the 1 hour short? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Good work on that.
Yep. So I'm still up in profits.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear. Raphael got in it also. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah. Yeah. Great job. Great work, everybody. Take it and run with it, right? Take the knowledge, take the skill set and run with it. Yeah. So let's see if that turns back over again. Right. We've got, like we say, the crude oil, we're expecting that to continue bullish, right? Which helps out the CAD. If we look at the Canadian data, uh read up on that. We know we got good GDP data, right? So we go back to here, GDP came in above forecast. That's always good news, right? When you got positive GDP numbers. Okay, so GDP preliminary figures indicate Canadian economy likely grew 0.1% June, extending the 0.2% growth observed in May. Right, and then it goes into the oil prices. So that is good. So that can continue to force that correction, right? Choppy, but that's the UCAD though, right? That's the UCAD, kind of like the Aussie NZD or the Euro GBP. It can get choppy at times. All right. So that's that. Oh, and then I was taking a look on some of these, and we'll wrap it up. I know we're over time. I was keeping an eye on some of these NZD pairs as they start to bottom out and make a U-turn. So there's NZD CAD made some good gains to the upside. We'll see if we can get a continuation on that, right? So we bottom out, we formed that low, right? And then we started to push. So we can see that's the stochastics in the buy zone moving up. And so we'll see. Maybe, with the strengthening in that CAD, maybe we start to move sideways a bit, but this is what it looked like on the 1. Okay, off the break to the upside. So we'll see if we can get it to tap into that 82.32 level. And then decide what we want to do with it. From there, I was looking at this NZD dollar also. And it put in a pretty good low. And we can see how, right, we're going to check back right now, rechecking that 59.41 daily level. But you can see how that stochastic is still in the buy zone. See if we can get a run up to 59.84. This also showed up as an 80-20 on the 4. Right? It's an 80-20 on the 4. So let's see if we can get to that TP1 level, which will put us into that next level of daily resistance. Any questions on the New Zealand dollar? No? All right. Donette, I see the comment on the accountability group. You want to talk about that a little bit before we wrap it up?
Oh, yes. Well, we have a lot of fun in accountability. Yesterday was one of those trying Wednesdays, but we kind of come up with a solution. So at the end of every accountability, we have a quote that we reach everybody around to see if you have a quote of the day. To
Mhm.
end, so yesterday Tyrone provided us where he said change will start slowly because direction is more important than speed. So as we
Mm,
move into August,
I like that.
that is
I
the
like that.
attitude. So yeah.
Wow, great
Spirit of
job.
them.
Great job, everybody. I love that quote. I love that quote.
Yeah, I
That
love it
is
too. So
so,
I thought I'd share her. I told him that's gonna be on my IG, on my Facebook today. So it's already there.
yeah, yeah, that
But
makes a
it's
lot of
very
sense.
applicable for us. So yeah.
Indeed it
So thank
is.
you, Tyrone.
Great job.
Thank you.
Well, hey, yep, we appreciate everybody's participation in the group. Right, great thing. Lots of growth, right? Lots of growth is what we're seeing and the things that from and what we hear. So keep up the great work, everybody. And you guys are still studying the Candlestick Bible.
Yeah, we're actually doing top-down analysis this.
Oh, now you're doing the top down. That's
Yeah.
right. You guys did
Mhm.
mention that in one of the sessions. I did hear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that going? How's that going so far?
It's going good. It's
Yeah.
going good. I mean, anybody want to pop in and share, feel free, but it's definitely opening our eyes to revisit, how we've been trading and evaluating. One of the things that they talked about yesterday in the book is about reviewing that one weekly candle, and you would always look at the weekly candle, but we never
Mm-hmm.
look to trade how we trade it in the future. So that was kind of a
Mm-hmm.
new thing, looking at that last weekly candle as
Mm-hmm.
part of our top-down analysis. So
And how it closes.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I like it. I
So
like it. I like it.
yeah.
Good, good. One big, huge think tank. So I appreciate everybody's participation,
Yeah, we appreciate it
so
too. So
yeah,
they added everybody, we have some people, but we want to continue to grow together. So it's good.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, great way to end the session, right? So we'll see everybody tomorrow morning, right? Again, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session. Everybody have a great day. Bye for now.
Thank you.